Hey, what's going on YouTube? I want to do a video on how I hook the LEDs up on my F1 Spyder. Stay tuned. If you like, subscribe, check out my video. All right, got the bike jacked up. First time. I'm gonna do the LEDs around the center bar, coming down the sides. Gonna mount underneath the seat here. I'm also gonna put some LEDs inside the grill. Here's the lights we installed it. Got these off Amazon for roughly 50 bucks. The D-Trio lights, I did install these on my wife's Riker Rally. Everything packaged up. We have 12 LED strips. It also does come with, let's see if I can do this in one hand. Come with wiring harness, a kill switch, a powered remote, as well as a different LED remote. We'll get into that a little bit later. Let's go ahead and start with the install. All right, so here's the underneath of the bike. So what I'm gonna do is on this skid plate right here is probably do a couple of LEDs coming here on both sides, or I might just go along the top here. And then on that long center bar going all the way to the back of the bike, I am going to install 2 LEDs, 2 strips, possibly 4, depending on the length, to make it all the way the length of the bike. All right, so we're gonna start by removing the 4 push pins on the front, which you can tell I've already done. Remove those 4 push pins. We are going to snap this up. It just pops right off. We can remove that and you can see the compartment there. What we want to do, so we're going to lift the front out. We have access to our battery, and that is where, ladies and gentlemen, we want to install or place our wires to have power to the. All right, so after I went in and figured out wiring where I want to place it, so I just wanted to show you what the wiring kit looks like. So we got a kill switch that I'm going to install somewhere up here where it's close. Wiring set's pretty cool. I mean, you got wires that's going to run with the fuse, and this will run all the way to the back of the bike. So when I hooked up the wife's bike previously, just run the 2 wires, positive in the ground, a ground and a positive to the battery, and get those installed on real quick. All right, so next I'm going to take this 1/8 torque wrench, remove the 4 bolts here, to pull this side panel off, so that way we can gain access to the bike. What I think I may do is install that kill switch right inside here underneath this bar. That way I don't have to worry about cutting into the bike. I want to do is less cutting into this bike as possible. While I'm doing this, mind you guys, that this is my very first time doing this on my Spyder, so just have to let you know that I do not know exactly what I'm doing, so I'm sure I'm going to be making a lot of mistakes. But things will get better as we go along. Next, we want to take out our push pins. Once we remove those push pins, slides right off. All right, so I stated what I'm probably going to do. My thought is to mount this kill switch just inside here. And although this does have 3M backing tape on it, I will be backing it up with some alien tape. Is what I did on my wife's bike, and it worked out pretty well. So before I do anything permanent, I'm going to run it, see how it goes. I think that may be purpose check. Just right underneath the fairing, going to be easily accessible. And what I am possibly going to do is remove these push pins, run the wire underneath there, and drill a small hole inside here, because this inside of that front will be covered. That way the wires can run underneath here. We always want to make sure that everything is seamless. So I noticed there's a slight gap inside there. I'm gonna try to run my wires inside there and see how we like it. So I ended up running the wire through that small little hole there, and it goes directly into the front. All right, so as you can see here, what I've done is I went ahead and mounted the negative wire and the positive, and I ran it through the little space here. And what I'm going to do is mount that fuse box right over here on the side on that metal bar so it doesn't move. I'm going to put some alien tape on it to make sure that it doesn't come out. All right, so as you can see, I got the wire coming down from the inside there. So all right, YouTube, I failed to record myself doing this. It would have probably been hard, but if you can see, I did stick the first set of strips down, coming from the back, going to the front. It does have the 3M tape on it, but just for added security, I did go ahead and zip tie both of them together on the bar. I secured on both ends. And what I will do, since it's hard for me to show the install, what I did was you definitely have to clean it with at least 90% alcohol. So I did go ahead and get that. Now what I'm going to do is clean this front part and go ahead and get the other two installed to the front. As you can see here, what I'm doing is I have it split where I can still run. I have adapters for 4 more lights that can go up top. 2 of these are going to be for the other 2 here. And then I also have another splitter where I can split off and run multiples going up front, because remember, we still do have to connect up front for the grill. Be back in a minute. So before I went any further, I went ahead and plugged them up to one of my splitters. As I mentioned here, here's one splitter. I still have 2 more. That's going to run to the other 2, and I'll split this off to make it another 4. But we have power, people. All right, so as you can see, we got the first ones installed. What I did was zip tied the second and put the wires into it, ran those back, and I zip tied all of the extra wires inside against the frame, so as I ride, they won't come out. Now work on the front part up there, and just to ensure that everything is working correctly. As you can see, the first ones are not. I mean, the first one I installed are working, but the second ones are not. And that is because I do not have them ran together. But just for all purposes, just to make sure that everything's together. There we go. So now underneath the undercarriage is ready. Just have to get ready for the front. And then we can let him down. Just in time too, because it's getting dark. It's a nice day and me and my wife want to get some riding in before the sun goes down. All right, YouTube, so I got the 4 up front. 2, 3, 4. You can still see the wires hanging down. I haven't got them put together yet. Still got to figure out how I'm going to hide the wires. I don't want to drill into these 2 plastic pieces, but I've got to find a way to get these wires secured. So I definitely will. See my wife's Riker back there in the back looking good. Let me show you what they look like when they're on. Yeah. Light up the night. All right, so here's an update. So what I've done is there are 2 little push pins right inside here and here that I removed. And this piece folds down. There's one more here. I'm gonna see if I can run the wire without actually moving or tearing that part out, pulling that pin out. I've already checked up front. There is nothing that is making it, or nothing is gonna hit anything hot to melt off what we have. And remove this pin. Here's a view from the side. You can see this is where the wire that we just tucked, where it's coming from. And I can put it down here with the rest of the wires and zip tie those all together. So let me get that done, get it cleaned up. All right, YouTube, it is done. First part anyway. First part installed is the undercarriage. And lights light up as you can see.